Spirituality, nobody can teach it to you. You need to get the fundamentals of any books, any spiritual system. You can get the fundamentals and then look at inside of you and then determine how you are going to use the fundamental principles to improve your life. But nobody can tell you, you must pray every Friday, you must do this every Saturday, you must do that every Sunday. No, because what is good for you is not necessarily what I need. You may need to go into yourself and meditate 100 times a day. And even the same person will not need it the same way all the time. You, in certain circumstances, you need to be meditating and finding all your forces, gathering all your forces continuously certain days. And then other days you may not even think about it. It doesn't mean you don't pray. Because everything you say, if you're living your own life, if you are who you are, and you know who you are, and you live working towards realizing your mission in life, every sound of it out of your mouth is a prayer. Every gesture you make is a prayer. Every dance you dance is a prayer. And when you make love with somebody, you are praying. If you know who you are, and this person knows who they are.
That's right. That's right.
There isn't anything that you do that is not a prayer. When you know who you are.
What's good, Ethereans and co-creators? Welcome to the channel. I am Monica, and this is Muse by Monica. If you are just seeing me or hearing me on this channel, we are all about alchemizing our pain into power and embracing our shadows. We are here to activate our highest self. Welcome to another TikTok Town Hall on this beautiful Friday. Where I am today, it is actually pouring down, raining. I actually absolutely love storms. I love thunderstorms, representation of Shango and Oya. I swear to goodness, I was a storm chaser in my past life. I love the darkness and the beauty and the destruction of the storms, but how beautiful they are to just kind of be in and to watch. But since we are a channel that talks about the dark side of things, we're going to go ahead and tap into the dark side of spirituality. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some perspectives about the dark side, the shadow side, the aspect side that most people don't talk about, that most people aren't ready for when they really have their spiritual awakening. I remember my very first spiritual awakening. I may have had other ones prior to that, but the most profound one was in 2020. And I've had quite a few since then. And along with those awakenings comes a lot of, usually right before the awakening occurs, there's usually a big tower moment. There's usually a huge crumbling, something falls apart. The illusion of what I thought something was is totally illuminated. Everything that was in the dark suddenly comes to light. Everything that was hidden suddenly becomes revealed. And it is often earth-shattering, very traumatic, all types of PTSD. But honestly, through each and every one, you activate a new version of yourself, a stronger version of yourself, a more wise version of yourself. Spirituality in itself is about the evolution. A lot of the ancient wisdom of spirituality has been tainted, for a lack of a better word. And I myself have been caught up very much in the new age spirituality and getting very far away from the ancient wisdom that spirituality stands on, rooted in, stems from. Culturally, I choose to resonate with African and Kemetic spirituality. I choose to resonate with the principles that those ancestors practiced. I use those as a guideline or a blueprint to create the alignment which is closest to source. There is no one way to spirituality. There is no one way to get to source. Every person will have their own ways of adopting, especially culturally. You'll have your own ways of resonating with connecting to source. And usually, source will put you in situations, and not even put you in situations, but challenge you within situations to see where you are in your alignment, where you are spiritually, if you've gotten too far away from him in the way that he would do things, which is standing on righteousness and the highest consciousness, meaning collectively, the collective consciousness. What is within you is also without of you, meaning what you create in yourself is also going to reflect what others create around you. How you reflect is also how others are going to be reflected to you. And that's why we talk about the power mirror here. That's why we like to face our shadows, because we need to get real about the shadow side of ourselves. So we are not thrown off or intimidated when we meet people, places, or situations that test those shadow aspects of ourselves, or better yet, activate those shadow aspects of ourselves. But I'm going to let y'all watch, because as always, these are usually a little long. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe if you like these videos. If you are back for another TikTok town hall, go ahead and turn on your post notifications so that you're notified every time we get a new TikTok town hall. And we're going to be exploring the dark side of a lot of aspects here on this channel. If you feel comfortable, this is a safe space, go ahead and comment your shadow side, the dark side of your spiritual journey. I would love for y'all to share the story. As a collective, we most likely share similar stories. But as I heal, you heal. As you heal the next. So let's face our shadows and grow. All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Until next time, peace.
Spirituality was a gateway for people to get out of the control system, the indoctrination. There's a lot of spiritual knowledge people out there, very smart individuals who have really dug in deep and done their work. There's spiritual celebrities now, spiritual rappers. It's like a whole Hollywood of spirituality is coming up now. Now here's the problem. I'm glad that there's a lot of people who are awakening, but the problem is this. They're spiritually in tune, and then they're spiritually educated. There's a lot of spiritually educated people using their platform to provide such an amazing amount of information that breaks everything down for people who don't know anything. But the second you question or you deviate from their belief, from their perception, they troll you or they belittle you. Those are not spiritually awakened and in tune individuals. They're spiritually educated because they have the knowledge, but they didn't do the work. They skip shadow work. Most people do because it's fucking hard as hell. You gotta go balls in deep, ready to face yourself. And a lot of people ain't ready for that. Alright? You gotta respect other people. Respect other people's beliefs, other people's perceptions, and take their perspectives. Because a fool is one who only takes his own perception, while the wise takes their own perception and also everybody else's perspective. Alright, so what are you? Spiritually educated or spiritually in tune?
Honestly, all you need to do is just show up as the best version of yourself every single day. That's it. Who you were yesterday is what you need to be in a competition with today. That's it. Show up as the best version of yourself. Do not become in this spiritual psychosis to where you forget that you came here for a human experience. Because a lot of people who are in the spiritual community, the new age spiritual community, they do that. They be on this app, you know, they're very judgmental, very contradicting, very manipulative. They do things to get money out of people, which is crazy to me, because it's just like, if y'all so called out the fucking matrix, why are you on this app? Number one. Why are you so hungry for money? Number two. And why are you so musky? Number three. Because I really don't understand why y'all don't be putting on deodorant. Yeah, I'm not that deep. I'm not that deep into spirituality. Like I said, I'm just showing up as the best version as I am every single day. No. You don't need this to be spiritual. You don't need this to be spiritual. It's already within you. The answers are already within you. Do not be on this app listening to these fucking people, all right? Because majority of them are nuts. They really are, and I realize that. And the only difference between religious people and spiritual people is that one is waiting for the Anunnakis to return, and the other is waiting for Jesus to fucking return. They're no different than the other, because they're both judgmental. They love to manipulate people, and they're just not good people. I am not part of the new spiritual community. I'm just awakened, that's it. And if you're new to this awakening, all you have to do is just look within. That's it. Because like I said, God did not create you differently than the next person. All the answers are within. Just seek them.
The dark side of spirituality. Oh, so you call yourself wanting to tap into your ancestors, awaken your divine gifts. You think it's all love and light and rainbows and unicorns, huh? Ha! Not. Let me tell you, baby. The brighter that your light becomes, the more the darkness is attracted to you. So you have to be extra protected, extra in line, okay? Because all of the lower shadow self stuff that you haven't dealt with, oh, it's going to come back with a vengeance. So if you've not worked on your lower self, if you still fall victim to lust and anger and jealousy and all this stuff, listen, the universe is finna send you every opportunity for you to conquer it, but it's going to be triggering. Secondly, let's talk about how everybody who claim to be spiritual, baby, is not of the light. Okay, demons are spirits too. Okay, and your very own best friend that you rocking out with might be secretly doing spells on you behind your back. That's why you got to be in tune and in line, because this spiritual lifestyle is not a joke. It is not a game. Okay? You got to be in alignment. That discernment has to be keen. That intuition has to be sharp. Okay? Because there'll be some people who hate you because your ancestors showing up for you and showing out. And they asking questions like, well, damn, I've been doing this longer than them. Why they taking off? Okay? And you don't need them kind of people in your circle. So just letting you know, when it comes to this spirituality, stick with your divine tribe. Stick with the people. You feel it in your heart. You feel it. You know it's genuine. It's legit. They have your best interest at heart, because there's a lot of people perpetrating, a lot of people pretending to be what they not. Okay? So I just want to put that out there, man. It's not a game. It's not a joke. It's real serious. Man, people out here doing conjure work on people for no reason, just because that person is abundant. So tap in, and tap in for real. Don't have one foot in the door, one foot out the door, because now you playing yourself. Okay? If you're going to tap into spirituality, give yourself over to this lifestyle. Accept that you're going to have to change your diet. Accept that you're going to have to maintain a high vibration, meditate, exercise, all of these different things, okay? Otherwise, you plan yourself and you open yourself up to a world that you ain't ready for. All right? I love you. Stay blessed. Stay abundant. Holla.
Yeah, this high priestess, she says that most spiritual people can lose their mind if they're not careful.
We want to be psychic so bad and type into these energies, we're opening ourselves up. And if you're not grounded or self-aware, you can really open yourself up to some shit that can put you in a realm that you can't get out of. Hence why we see certain people walking around here mumbling to themselves, having conversations with people that are not there. We deem them as crazy and homeless, but in all actuality, they done tapped into some shit that they can't come back from because they didn't have the grounding.
Peace and blessings to the kings and queens, gods and goddesses. I know y'all having a blessed day. Check this out, newsflash. Spirituality ain't gonna always be smiles and giggles. When you decide that you're gonna stand up and be spiritual, you make yourself an opposition to all the negative entities out there. Not only that, you open your eyes and you see all the negative entities, feel all the negative entities, hear all the negative entities out there. So yeah, you raise your awareness and you're susceptible to peace, but you're extra susceptible to anger. And you extra susceptible to your haters, naysayers, and little trickster spirits. That's why it's important to move off of the information you know to keep you peaceful. One of the greatest pieces of advice I've gotten, be dangerous in a way that no one will want to disturb your peace. And be peaceful in a way that everybody understand how dangerous you could be. Woe to the person who hate the peacemaker.
One thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people that talk about spirituality online, they only talk about the good part. You know, they talk about love and light, and they make it seem like this shit is all peaches and cream. But they don't tell you about the dark side. They don't tell you that when you actually open up your third eye and you actually start seeing beyond the matrix, bro, it's a lot of pain and suffering that comes with that shit, right? And so you got to understand that pretty much everything we was ever taught was a lie. So when you become conscious, you have to reprogram the way that you think. So this means you have to go back in your mind and you have to resolve past traumas. You have to confront your own demons. And see, a lot of people don't want to talk about this. They want you to think that it's all about love and everything is sweet. But they don't talk about the real shit. They don't talk about the fact that, you know, you can become depressed from having all this spiritual knowledge, right? Because you can become so elevated in your consciousness to where the physical earth bores you, the physical earth is beneath you, and you can begin to hate this realm. Because look, man, I'm gonna tell you some real shit, man. I know a lot of people who got too deep into this conscious information and they ended up just, you know, crashing out or taking themselves out. You know, because you got to understand, man, this shit is not for the weak of heart. This shit will break you. This shit will destroy you. You talking about taking everything that somebody has known to be real and true and destroying that shit, right? And rebuilding your whole life, rebuilding your whole mind from the ground up. That's
Being spiritual is not about using crystals, reading tarot, or using sage. New Age spirituality has almost forgotten that spiritual awakenings are not all love and light. In fact, they can be quite terrifying and challenging to many. Spirituality is all about evolution, so that means when you spiritually awaken, all this dark stuff that you were hiding will come to the surface so you can work on it. It also means that you will lose friends that are not aligned with your highest good. Spirituality is all about reconnecting with your divinity, and in order to do so, your current identity must dismantle in front of your eyes. Your life plans may radically change and make you feel unstable because everything you were working on no longer matters to you. Real spirituality doesn't come from anything outside of yourself. It comes from you learning how to consistently dismantle stories you've told yourself about who you are. That way you can tap into who you really are, which is Source. If you want to tap into your highest spiritual potential, check out the top of my page.
So I'm just sitting here thinking, like, people really don't talk about how dark spirituality can be. How dark the journey can be. They don't tell you how you can grow up with a narcissist all your life, not knowing that they are narcissists. Attract other narcissists, birth narcissists, and then realizing on your journey as you're healing, like, these motherfuckers is narcissists and I gotta get out of this. They don't tell you that these people will be your daddy, your mama, your sister, your brother, your children, your significant other. They don't tell you how
Your mother could be a damn energy vampire, sucking the energy out of you so that she could become a better, or not even better, a stronger individual because she know your strength. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about how you could be connected to people, and the reason why your shit falling apart is because you picking up they fucking energy and all they goddamn karma because you not knowing what they going through. They don't talk about how you gotta cut off all these people and let these people go, but they don't talk about the fact that cutting them off don't help you deal with the triggers, because guess what? The universe gonna bring you somebody else that's gonna trigger the fuck out of you to make you have to deal with it. They're gonna send you the same person that's gonna talk shit to you, and how you gonna deal with it. Are you just gonna ignore them, or are you gonna deal with it? They don't talk about the fact that, like, you really gotta do some deep soul healing on this journey. And the shit gets so dark because it becomes lonely, and you don't even know who the fuck to trust. You start looking around like, are you here to attack me? Are you here to do this? Are you here to do that? Who the fuck are you? Why are you here? You start questioning every damn body, and you like, damn, can I trust anybody? They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the fact that you really gotta dig deep and learn how to trust yourself, so that you can trust that the people that you let in are trustworthy. This journey is ongoing, continuous healing. It's never not gonna stop. But they don't talk about how dark this shit get. They don't talk about how alone this shit gets, because you have to really, 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 really think about your healing process. The shit get dark, and nobody fucking talks about the shit.
What's going on? So here are the dark sides to spirituality that nobody really talks about. So first of all, once you open your third eye, you can never close that shit. I mean, you can in a like block chakra type of way, but you can't close it in the way that once you have seen these things, you are no longer able to not ever see these things again. I mean, you could try to act like you don't, but you know, that has its own problems. That's another video. Anywho, so that's one thing for sure. Your entire perspective will change, whether you're ready for that or not, but eventually you will have to get yourself ready. It's very lonely. It's very lonely because you've always felt this way. Now you realize that you have to make a choice whether or not you're going to feel that way forever, or if you're going to make the choice to learn how to feel through that and then heal through that, and then help other people do the same thing by shedding the light that you've always had on the inside out to yourself first, then to the world.
Here is why I no longer say the universe and I talk directly to God. When I was having my first layers of my spiritual awakening, obviously the New Age spirituality movement is the universe. The universe is working in my favor. The universe loves me. And I heard someone say the universe is the creation and God is the creator. So you're thanking the creation instead of the creator. And once I started addressing God, and once I started praying in a non-religious way, it's just conversations with God. You don't need to go to a physical place or to do specific things to be connected to God. God is within. God is everywhere, all around. Once I started speaking to God again, I experienced so many shifts in my life because I realized that I was resistant towards the unconditional love that God has for me and for every single one of us. We grow up with so much shit, with so much programming and so much trauma that we all believe we are unworthy of unconditional love, which is absolutely insane because just by breathing, you are worthy. When I stopped trying to take responsibility for manifesting, or like, oh my God, look at the things I attracted in my life, that's ego. God moved that and made that happen for you. And I truly believe that this is where the whole New Age spirituality movement, there's a lot of good in it, but I think that there's a lot of things that have been tweaked not in the right way. You don't manifest anything. You are co-creating with God. Once you drop that resistance and you think that you're the one making it happen and you're the one in control and you have to figure it out, there are so many more doors that can open. I'm not saying this in a religious standpoint. I am in no way religious. I just like to talk with God. I like to feel his presence and to welcome that unconditional love within, because I know it's available to me. And for a long time, I thought I wasn't good enough for it. I just wanted to share that with you because maybe that resonates with you and you're like, oh shit, maybe I should try that. But you don't have to. You're really free to do what you please. But holy shit, my life has changed. Thank you, God.
Spiritual TikTok gets real dark. Spiritual TikTok, some of y'all got problems. Some of y'all are real psychopaths. Seriously, psychopaths. It's a fine line between spiritual and spiritual psychosis, and some of y'all are losing y'all minds. If I'm given a power or wake up to my power, I could choose how to use it. I can go towards the dark energy or I can go towards the light. And there is no light without the dark. I get that. But you choose what you want to do with it. I could have chose to use my power in a different way. And I could have choose to use the dark energy to manifest things. It's quicker. Or I can choose to use light energy, God's energy, and I manifest things like this. Y'all be talking about people with magic. You got to realize what you do come back on you. And if it don't come back on you, it'll come back on your bloodline, your family, your children. You think, oh, I do the protection work, or I don't care about none of that. What you do come back on you. That's just the rule of life. Karma is real. I can use my powers for evil. Instead, I created a space where instead of doing root work on somebody, you're doing root work on yourself. I can get mad at someone for making me upset or doing something towards me. Or I could do root work on myself and make you mad because I leveled up. And make you mad because you keep sending things my way, but I keep taking that energy, transmitting it into positive energy, and now you just watching me. Y'all follow these people. Try to get in their classes and get readings by them. You're taking on that energy. You're taking on that energy of these people. That's why I don't let anybody read me. Don't just be going to any reader and any spiritualist. You don't know what these people, you don't know what kind of energy these people are working with. Now you go to this reader and you turn around, some stuff going wrong in your life, or you feel off because these people are psychopaths. These people have spiritual psychosis. Y'all better be careful who you listen to on this app. You want to be a boss, get in with me. We manifesting over here. We manifesting what's for us. Not getting back that man who treated us like crap and we want him back because another girl got him. We not doing root work on people because they made us upset. We going after homes, businesses. We manifesting over here. Y'all keep going to these people. You gonna see, you gonna find out. Been there, done that. Take my word for it. Keep listening to people on this app. You better get a book. You better do some research in a book. You better stop listening to these people. These people are crazy.
One thing people need to stop doing out here is pretending they don't have a dark side. You don't fully love yourself if you don't love your dark side as well. We all have a darkness. We all been through something. We all have that dark side. We all have it. Even empaths, wherever we all have it. People need to stop pretending that they're all good. You're not. We have good and bad in us. The whole point of it is to balance it. In life is about balance. Everything. Your masculine energy, your feminine energy, you need to balance that. You need to balance happy and sad. You need to balance your darkness and lightness. Not everything is love and light out here. You're going to have your times of feeling sad. You're going to have your times of getting angry. You're going to have your times of just feeling. If you don't feel, then you must be a robot. It's a human experience. Everything is a human experience. The only reason why you don't like your darkness is because you are scared of yourself. You're scared of yourself. That's why you have to put on this image that you're all good. So you're not judged. Even though that person is judging you has a darkness as well. People shame people for having some kind of darkness, some kind of emotion that they're feeling. People like to shame others because they're insecure of their own selves, because they are insecure of showing who they really are. Like if you come to my page, I'm gonna sound mean sometimes. I'm gonna sound nice sometimes. I'm gonna sound a little bit of everything, depending on my mood. Cause you know what? I'm human. I'm pissed off about life sometimes. You're gonna see that emotion. You're gonna see me in a happy state sometimes. You're gonna see it all. You're gonna see me sound mean. Why? Because I embrace my own darkness. Because I love my dark side as well, not just my light side. The whole point of your spiritual journey is loving all of yourself, your darkness, your light, all your emotions, loving your anger, loving all of yourself. That's the whole point of it. Not just, oh, love and light, I just love this side of me. No. Not how it works. I'm gonna have an analogy right here, because I always talk about Marvel movies, because Stan Lee literally talks about everything about emotions, the universe in his comics, and he points this out in his comics as well. Like Spider-Man, when he has the Venom suit, when Venom goes into him, what does he do? He shows his darkness. All right, everyone has a darkness. All those Marvel characters, they always show a piece of their darkness, not just their lightness. And sometimes that darkness is your power to get where you want in life. You're out here being kind, 24/7, people pleasing, you're just going to get taken advantage of. You need that darkness so people don't take advantage of you, and you can watch out for the actual evil that's out here. Confuse confidence and arrogance as well. A lot of people confuse that as like people who is confident in their speaking and what they talk about, they sound arrogant, blah blah blah. It's because you're insecure of yourself. You're pretty much projecting yourself. You're projecting. And me as my human design chart, I am a projector, meaning wherever I project, it's showing yourself. I'm showing you who you are. Some things I might trigger you because I'm projecting what you really are. So stop being afraid of your darkness, because you're not fully an empath. You have a dark side as well. That's why they call it a super empath, because a super empath has a darkness, meaning they can use that darkness towards narcissists, towards sociopaths. Use that darkness, but use it for good. That's how you do it. That's why a lot of you don't stick up for yourselves, because you think, oh, I gotta be this kind person, turn the left cheek. No. No. You have to show your darkness as well. Stop pretending, because you're only lying to yourself.
You need to start embracing your dark side. You need to integrate your shadow self. And I know that sounds probably quite scary already, but I'm going to tell you what that means. So, I'm naturally a very aggressive, very argumentative, a very confrontational person. And because of that, and I'd even say that I was born like that. And because of that, from ever since I can remember, I've been getting treated like a war criminal by my family, my mother specifically, and then school.
like school, I'd say, is like when it became very, very apparent. You know, I remember one time my teacher made me sit at the front of the class, like how you would in court, and made every student basically say like a negative thing about me. Like proper, that's proper like etched into my memory. And you know, that's what it is with mothers especially, like they coddle their kids, and like any signs of like aggression or anything like kind of in that way, they like act like it's like a really, really negative thing that almost needs to be cured out of them, that needs to be, you know, taken out of them. And you know, my mom tried to do that with me. Like I had endless threats of her sending me back to Ghana to go live with my auntie, to become disciplined. And I know a lot of people that actually had to do that, and I'm so grateful that my mom never went through with it. You know what I mean? When I was younger and not yet awake, like I was in denial, how most people are. You know, when you tell most people about themselves, you know, they're in denial. So of course, as a kid, I was the same. I'd be like, no, I'm not aggressive. No, I'm not argumentative. I'm not confrontational. All these things that were being thrown at me, I would say, no, I deny it. And the problem with that is that it makes you in conflict with yourself. If these things are true about yourself, it makes you in conflict with yourself, you know, you're repressing your shadow. And what then happens is that it will act out. Yeah, so basically I was not accepting of myself because nobody else accepted me. My own family didn't accept me. My school did not, my school where you spend most of your other time growing up did not accept me. So I did not accept myself as well, which is very important. You know, when I finally woke up and learned the truth, I started to accept myself and started loving every part of myself, and that included my shadow. I started embracing these parts of me. You know, how aggressive I am, that I'm basically anti-authority, and I always have been, and I've never listened to my parents really, and I haven't listened to my teachers and any type of authority really, that I'm confrontational, that I don't really respect rules, that, you know, I don't really care much for like societal you know, norms and things of that nature. I started to accept those things, and when I started to accept those things, it's like your light self and your shadow self marry and become one. And all of a sudden, people can't use these things against you because you accept them in yourself, and you know this about yourself. So if I know myself, how can you tell me about myself? You know? And I started to realize, and I started taking pride in these parts of myself, because I started to realize that most of the things that I'd gotten to in life were very, you know, those things were very influential in those. How much I was protected. And, you know, I came up in a different time where, you know, I've always been very, very ambitious. And where I came up, a lot of the time, it's like, it almost felt like people around me always had this level of like offended that I would dare have these ambitions. You know, Africans are kind of getting a lot of love now, but it never, you know, it wasn't always like that. It definitely was not like that when I was like, you know, really in my growing up years. You know what I mean? And those traits of mine protected me. I remember so many people used to try and get at me and all of that. And, you know, I would not have it. Like, my energy, the way I am, I've always been like that. And, like, I remember, like, kind of like the kids that I grew up around in my church or cousins or anything of that nature that weren't like that, that were, like, really, really well-behaved and that were, like, very well-neutered. I remember, like, they haven't done any, like, they're so, like, I see them and, like, they have no sense of self. You know what I mean? And all of those things, like, if they were subjected to it, they didn't survive those things. They just fell in line and took what the card that life gave them. The cards that they were dealt, they just took them and never, you know, dared to dream for more. And it's my shadow self that's actually allowed me to be daring enough and to have the audacity to go through the things that I believe to be true for myself. That's my shadow that done that. I take pride in my aggression. I go after my dreams as hard as I do because of the aggression that's in me. If I didn't have these things that are quote unquote negative, where would I be? Where would I be? I'm extremely competitive, and I have a lot of anger in me. Why am I going to pretend that that's not the case? The competitiveness in me and the anger in me channels through my work. And that's the whole point of integrating your shadow, is that you become aware of it and you start loving it so that you can start directing it and using it for your own benefit and to benefit the world, rather than suppressing it so that you act out on it unconsciously, so you hurt yourself and your loved ones and also the world.
That's what it's about. And another thing that I want to say is that it does not matter what your source of fuel is. I feel like we're living is like super like hippie, fake, positive age where everyone's like making out that everything's about being positive. None of the stuff that I talk about is necessarily about being positive. It's about being authentic and about being able to do the things that you want to do. And it's like, it does not matter what your source of fuel is. The only thing that matters is the results. So if it comes from something that is quote unquote, you know, negative, or it makes people feel a little bit uncomfortable, I don't care. You know what I mean?
In 900 feet.
Integrate your shadow today. Love your shadow. Become whole and stop being fake with yourself.
Peace, fam. So I got a little announcement to make. Don't associate me with the spiritual community or none of that, man. Because a lot of y'all in the community be too ego and less love, man. Y'all do not be what y'all be preaching about. You feel me? A lot of y'all be feeling like y'all the only ones allowed to teach. And that shit gets on my nerves. Whenever somebody comes to your presence and speaks the divine truth, you feel envy in your heart, or you try to discredit the knowledge just because it's not from you. And like that shit really grinds my gears, family. Because to even call it divine means that it is infinite, it is expansive. You see what I'm saying? It's not just one face to truth. Truth is in everything. That's why there's so many goddamn religions. But I am not religious because a lot of y'all be toxic, and just like how I'm not fucking with spirituality, y'all feel like y'all truth is the only truth, and y'all be toxic about it. Just like how the Christians be, you see what I'm saying? If you don't worship Jesus, it's witchcraft. You feel me? No, families. Spirituality has become one of those things for me, so I'm not fucking with it. You feel me? I'm not fucking with it. So don't associate me with spiritual. Don't call me spiritual. I'm a loving being. I'm a loving, conscious being. I lead with love and I follow love. You feel me? I love you.
Appropriation and stealing from real ancient practice.
I saw a comment the other day that was saying something like, how can you call it New Age thought when it's really just ancient wisdom practices? Well, it's because who is passing down the ancient wisdom can corrupt it. And how do we know this? Buddhism was once an oral tradition. That eventually got challenged because there was a monk who was considered very corrupt and was almost like manipulating the teachings. And so as a way to try to prevent that from happening again, they decided to write everything down. And it's important to note that in Buddhist history, there are people who are attached to the interpretations of the teachings that have been passed down, which I guess we can call a form of accountability. However, when it comes to New Age authors, they are trying to sell you something. Their course, their books, are attempting to capitalize and continue to sell products for large amounts of money, which means that any interpretations they have of any ancient wisdom is for a financial gain. We can call that corruption.
This new age of spirituality is like so toxic, and we need to talk about it.
Dangers of New Age spirituality.
Here is why I left the New Age.
Okay, so loads of people are still not getting it. So I'm going to show you what spiritual psychosis looks like.
Yeah, so I've actually been saying this for a while. I've noticed that when people get their apocalyptic type dream, it's because they've jumped a time.
This is a message from the Arcturians.
It's a lot to digest. What's been done in the dark must come to light. Poles are shifting. We're seeing all these dancing birds.
I'm a starseed. A lot of people ask me, how do I know if I'm a starseed? But
why I don't let my wife set boundaries with me. Setting a boundary sounds like stop doing this, don't do that. That's energetically leading, which means it's masculine, which means it's disrespectful when a woman communicates that.
Exiting their matrix programming and waking up to the real world that has always been behind the scenes. There are many other alien species disguised as humans walking around among you, arranging timelines.
Why I stopped drinking water and why you should too.
People live for much longer, 250 years or more. Let me just say the movement against starseeds, which there are very few real starseeds. You might have lived off this planet, but starseeds came here to help you leave this planet.
Here's how vibration works and why your entire life depends on it.
Abraham Hicks literally telling us,
do not talk about this low vibrational stuff. You're going to bring your vibration low, and it's all about raising your vibration so that the only way you can really save humanity is not bringing up these topics and talking about the real shit that's going on that people are unaware of because the media doesn't talk about this shit. Let's only talk about light and love so that we can raise the vibration. It's all about us.
When your partner is saying things that you don't want to hear and you want to use manifestation to fix it, what you do is you tune them out respectfully, but you stop listening.
I don't want to talk to New Age spiritual people anymore. They're fucking weird.
New Age spirituality isn't New Age. These practices have always been present, but just like they've always been present, they've always been sacred. And what makes it New Age are people who are using these New Age spiritual practices for worldly things like popularity and fame and money. And that's what's truly demonic about it. Those people who are using it, who are truly disconnected from source, they're disconnected from the ancient wisdom, they're disconnected from these ancient practices. They have no idea where these practices even stemmed from. They don't realize that it's more than just tarot, right? It's deeper and more profound than that. And there are various spiritual practices as well. It's people who have no business as well dabbling into these practices, and then they leave these practices, they go into other religions like Christianity, for example, and then start demonizing these practices and saying like all these New Age practices are bad and da-da-da-da-da. And of course that's gonna be their experience because they were disrespecting the practices all along. They're acting surprised that it backfires on them. All they knew was just shuffling cards, but they didn't have the connection to the ancient wisdom. They don't realize that it's deeper than just cards, and it's more than just cards. It's another reason why they demonize yoga. And a lot of these people who are demonizing it, you have no business even doing these practices to begin with, because you're also not honoring the sacredness of these practices. Anyways.
This new age of spirituality is like so toxic, and we need to talk about it. First and foremost, I hate the black and white thinking. Like, to be spiritual, you have to do this or you can't do this. Like, it's spirituality, not religion. If I wanted rules dictating the actions of my life, I would just be Catholic like my family. And the one thing in the spiritual community that irks me the most is food and music. Like, it's this whole idea of, you know, there's high vibrational things, there's low vibrational things, there's good things, bad things. What? Now, granted, I do believe that if you listen to, like, sad things all the time, you know, it's gonna kill your vibe. But you know what? Like, music in general, like, I was fully convinced that I shouldn't listen to music and it's bad for me and it's gonna bring my vibe down. Like, no. Or even the whole argument with food, especially the vegans, these alkaline people. Now, granted, I, you know, like to eat a plant-based diet, but I still eat meat and stuff. You know, they think that, you know, oh, don't eat meat because it weighs you down and you need to be lighter to ascend. Like, I'm not shitting on anybody's beliefs, but to me, it just sounds stupid. To me, the one thing I really love about spirituality is it allows you to believe in something outside of yourself without all the rules like religion. So for people to sit here and give you guidelines on how, you know, spiritual you are, how spiritual you aren't being by doing certain things, no. It's based on how you feel, and if you feel good doing whatever that is, then do it. If eating that chicken palm with that penny vodka makes you happy, then fucking do it. If for you listening to that song just makes you feel like you could absolutely like crush the world, and to somebody else they think that it's gonna make them manifest bad things in their life, then whatever. You listen to that song, they can go rot. I don't know. To me, things aren't inherently good or bad. It's how you view it. So let's say, you know, you think that eating meat is gonna kill you and give you cancer. Hey, you know what? It's probably gonna kill you and give you cancer. If you don't think it will and it won't faze you, it won't. I think our minds and our bodies are a lot more powerful than we think, and if you keep, you know, restricting yourself and telling yourself that, you know, this is good, this is bad, and this is how you should live your life, and this is how you shouldn't, you're not going to respond that well. I feel like as much as spirituality saves you, it also imprisons you. It depends. Just do your own thing. Moral of the story, I know I just went on a whole rant, but spirituality, there's no guidelines, okay? Do what makes you happy, not what somebody else tells you to do. Because honestly, I feel like people lose sight of the whole point of spirituality. So don't let the toxicity get to you. And obviously, I only mentioned food and music. There's a lot more toxic things. So, I mean, comment them.
New Age spirituality is a scam. It's a cult. It will literally trap you into this way of thinking that you can create your whole reality and that something is wrong with you because you're not manifesting abundance or you're not manifesting a new life like you are trying so hard to do. The reason why is because there's a bigger problem besides you. Imagine walking up to people who are really suffering in this world and just being like, well, you can create your own reality. Do you realize how stupid that sounds? If you're in the position to be able to recreate your own reality, you are privileged as f***. And promoting that and making other people think that something is wrong with them because they're not getting where they want to be is exactly what's wrong. Most of New Age spirituality, all they can talk about is manifesting abundance. I made money this way. I can make money this way. I manifested this. I manifested that. Where is the connection to land? Where is the connection to other people? Where are you actually helping other people besides charging X amount of dollars for your online course or for your content? New Age spirituality uses capitalism and abuses and takes advantage of other people so that they can feed their own spiritual ego.
You want to know the dark side of spirituality? I'm going to tell you. Because when you start to get into this world, and maybe you're already in it, so you can confirm or deny in the comments what I'm about to say, but when you get started in this, your life blows the fuck up. And not always in a good way. It happens in 3 stages, and most people don't even get past the 2nd stage. Let me explain. So stage 1 is kind of like the bliss stage, also known as like the honeymoon stage. This is when you just get started on your spiritual journey and everything feels like magic. Like you're meditating, you're journaling, you're doing all the things, you're waking up early, manifesting, scripting your future life, and everything just fills you up. You're stoked. Most people refer to this as a feeling of being in alignment. But then stage 2, the burn it down stage, and this is like the metamorphosis of the spiritual awakening crisis. This is where things start to get dark, because when you start opening up your third eye, you don't just see things anymore, you start to know things. Sometimes the things that you learn, you wish you didn't know. You start to look at the people in your life and you suddenly realize, like, none of these people actually support me. Some of them might even secretly wish that you fail. Like the friendships, the relationships, even the job that you once thought was so stable, it was never actually even meant for you. And the problem is that once you see it, you can't unsee it. So your entire life begins to burn to the ground. Question everything. You feel alone, you feel isolated, you don't belong anywhere anymore. And this is exactly where most people quit. Say, nope, not for me. I can't do this. Like, I just want to go back to my old life. They numb out, they close their third eye, and that's it for them. So they pretty much just go back to old patterns and they pretend like they never saw the truth in the first place. No, this is not where you quit. This is where you double down. Which brings me to stage 3, which is the rebirth era, the higher self era. If you have the resilience to push through the fire, if you have the endurance to keep going through that stage 2, you will come out on the other side with something you never had before. I'm talking authentic relationships, people that finally support you and truly love you, opportunities that actually align because you stop chasing stuff and instead you attract, and a deep sense of peace because you finally cleared all that energy that was simply draining the hell out of you. And look, this isn't some theory, this is me speaking from experience. If you're in that burn it all down stage right now, girl, keep going. What's waiting for you on the other side is so much better than what you're leaving behind. So drop a comment and let me know what stage you're currently in.